Liam found the beach house online. It was not on any major rental site, just one another ad. Isolated, peaceful, right on the sand, $50 per night. Too good to pass up. They arrive on a Friday evening. The house stood by itself, hidden behind tall dunes. The ocean scratches forever behind it. Maya said, I don't see any neighbors. Liam replied, that's what make it perfect. They unloaded the cars. The house was small but cozy. The floor was sandy. The air inside smelled like washed salt. A strange wooden symbol hung above the front door, and eyes covered in driftwood. Olivia asked, what's that? Ryan shrugged. Probably just decoration. That night the wind howled like voice, but the house stood quiet. The next morning, Maya was walking barefoot on the beach. Her foot hit something hard under the sand. She dug. It was a wooden mask, older and broken, with black ants' eyes. She brought it inside. Let's not keep that, Olivia said. It gave me the creeps. Probably from an old whisper, Maya smiled. That night, Olivia had a dream. She stood on the beach. Something with no face came crawling from the sand, whispering, give it back. She woke up screaming. Her hands were full of wet sand. Ryan tried to leave the next day to get food from town, but the car would not start. No signal either, Liam said, holding this phone. They were completely cut off. They searched the house for emergency supplies. In the attic, they found a journal, old moodily but still readable. We found in the sand. It belonged to him, the thing that sleeps below. Now we cannot leave. Ryan asked, is this a joke? But Liam looked pale. What if it's not? That night, Maya heard whispered under the floorboards. She pressed her ear to the wood. The voice said, the sand remembers. She jumped up. The symbol above the front door was gone. Something had taken it and left behind footprints made from wet sand leading from the door to the hallway. They followed them. They entered at Ryan's bed, but Ryan was gone. Just his phone and a pile of sand where he has been. They searched the entire beach, no sign of Ryan. But the sand felt wrong. It buzzed under the feet like something breathing. That night, Liam said Ryan, standing out the water. He ran after him. Ryan! But when he got close, Ryan's face was gone. Just smooth, wet skin where his features should be. Liam shimbled back. Ryan opened his mouth full of sand and whispered, he lives beneath. Then he vanished into the waves. Olivia woke up to find the wooden symbol back on the wall. Only now the eyes was bleeding black tar. Maya started drowning in the notebook. Imagine of faceless pupils, sand-covered mouths, drowning bodies. She cried, I can't stop. The house groaned. The sand outside had moved. The dunes now circled the house, tall like walls. They were trapped. Liam broke open the floor where Maya heard her the voice. Underneath was a tunnel, dark, cold, and made of packed sand. Against Olivia's wishes, they crawled in. The tunnel led deep underground to a stone chamber. Symbols were covered into the walls, and in the center a hole, deep and black. Then he heard it, crawling. Something was coming up to the tunnel behind them. They ran. Just before they reached the house, Maya screamed. Hands made of sand pulled her down, dragging her into the darkness. Gone. Only Olivia and Liam were left. They decided to burn the journal, the symbols, and the mask. They set it all on the fire in the fireplace. The house began to shake. From every crack in the walls, sand poured in. The whole place is sinking. Olivia screamed. Liam opened the door. Sand was already halfway up the frame. We have to go now. They ran onto the beach. The house crumbled behind them, solid by the dunes. Then the wind stopped, and the silence returned. Olivia was found walking along Highway 12, barefoot and in shock. No one believed her story. No one even found Liam's body. The rental listing was gone. But local says the dune out by the shore move on their own now. And sometimes people still see footprint in the sand leading to the house that's it not there anymore. The sun was setting as a car rolled down a narrow road near the ocean. The sound of waves crashing filled the air, and seagulls flew above. Emily looked out the window and saw a large old wooden house at the edge of the beach. This is it, Jack said. Our beach house for this weekend. Sam whispered. It's look creepy. Taylor nodded. Looks like no one lived here in years. Jack parked the car and they all stepped out. The air smelled of salt and old wood. The house stood tall, its white paint faded and peeling. The windows were dusty at the front porch cracking in the wind. The place is perfect. Jack smiled. No neighbors, no noise, just us. They walked inside. The floor creaked under their feet. The living room was filled with old furniture covered in white sheets. Dust floated in the air. Emily wrinkled her nose. Are you sure this place is safe? It's been in my uncle's family for years. Jake said. Nobody come here anymore. He gave me the keys and said we could use it. They unpacked their bags, picked rooms, and sat in the living room with some snacks. That night, the ocean sounded louder than usually, almost angry. The next morning, Sam found a painting in the hallway. It showed the beach, but there was a dark shadow standing in the waves. That figure was not there last night, she said. Emily frowned. Maybe you just did not notice. Sam replied, I'm sure. The painting has changed. Later, Jack found a door under the stairs. Its was locked. He asked, what's in there? Taylor said, probably the basement. Jack laughed. Let's break the lock tomorrow. Might be some cool stuff down there. That night, Sam could not sleep. She heard someone walking in the hallway, but when she opened the door, no one was there. She went back to bed, but just as she closed her eyes, she heard whispering, soft, cold whispering, right next to her ears. She screamed. The other ran to her room. Something whispered to me, she said, shaking. Jack looked around. There is no one there. But Taylor noticed something. There was wet footprint on the wooden floor. Emily was cleaning the kitchen when she found an old diary in the drawer. She opened it. The writing was messy and dark. He came from the ocean. He watched from the waves. The house is cursed. We should never have built it here. Emily hand shook. She shouted it to the other. We need to leave. Jack said, we can't. My car battery is dead. Taylor said, "What? It's worked fine yesterday." Emily whispered, "It's mean we're stuck here." That night, the basement door was open. Jack said, "I locked this." Inside, the air was damp and cold. They walked down the stairs. Old tools, boxes, and broken furniture was scattered everywhere. In the far corner, they saw something strange. A circle was drawn on the floor in black paint. Inside it were seashells, burned candles, and bones. "Is this some kind of ritual?" Sam asked. Suddenly, the basement light flickered, then it went out. A loud bang echoes Bingham. The door had slammed shut. They ran up, pushing the door hard. After a few seconds, it opened. But now, something has changed. The beach outside looked different. The water was closer. The waves were higher. It was like the ocean was coming from them. The next morning, Jack was acting strange. He stared out the window for hours, not speaking. "Jack," Emily said, "are you okay?" He turned slowly, his eyes dark and empty. He went, "One of us." Taylor asked, "Who?" Jax did not answer. He walked out toward the beach. They followed him, yelling his name. Jack stood at the edge of the water, arms open. Emily shouted, "Jack, come back!" But Jack stepped in the ocean. The waves were crashing over him, and he disappeared. They searched for hours. Nothing. Jack was gone. That night, none of them slept. Emily and Taylor went back to the basement. They found another book behind a broken board. It was written by the house's original owner. "We took something from the sea. It followed us back. It needed a soul to stay quiet." Sam sat in her room, crying. He painted had changed again. Now the dark figure was inside the house, right behind her. She turned, no one was there. But then she heard breathing. She screamed as something pulled her into the wall. Her voice faded. Emily and Taylor found her room empty. The painting showed three pupils now. Only Emily and Taylor remained. Emily and Taylor ran the car. The battery was still dead. They tried calling 911, but no signal. "The ocean's energy," Emily said. "I want more." They decided to burn the house. They pursued oil from the garage across the floor and lit a match. Flame spread fast, smoke filled the air. They ran toward the shore, hoping something would see the fire. Suddenly, Taylor stopped. "Emily, run!" She turned. Taylor was being pulled back by invisible hands, dragging him into the sand. She tried to save him, but he screamed, "Go!" And then he was gone. Emily ran. She did not stop until she reached the road. A fisherman found her next morning, crying and shaking. The house was gone, burned to ash. No bodies were found, no records for the original family, no proof of what happened. Emily was the only one who remembered. Emily now lives in Chicago. She never talked about the beach house, but sometime when she visits the shore, she sees footprint into the sand and hear whisper in the wind. He is still alive. Four college friends rented a lake house in Vermont for summer break. The place was far from town, surrounded by thick woods, with a silent black lake behind it. Alex drove the group up a dirt road that ended at the house. "This place is beautiful," Hallie said, stepping out. Raquel looked at the lake. "It's too quiet." Ben laughed. "Come on, Rachel, enjoy it. No city, no noise." They unpacked and picked rooms. That night, they roasted marshmallows and told ghost stories by the lake. But none of them noticed the shape floating far out the water, watching. The next morning, Alex saw wet footprints on the kitchen floor. Were you swimming last night? He asked Ben. Nope, I never went out. Later, Raquel found a photo in her drawer of a different group of teens standing in the same spot they were in. But the photo was dated 1984 and written on the black. We should have never come here. That night, Haley heard something outside her window. A woman singing. She looked out, but no one was there. But on her window, we was a wet handprint. Alex went into town the next day and asking an old gas station clerk about this lake. The man looked nervous. Stay out of the water, he warned. People vanished there. Every few years, always young kids. Alex asked, why? Someone say the lake took a girl once. She drowned but did not stay dead. That night, Haley sleepwalked to the edge of the lake. Raquel catch her just in time. Haley's eyes were wide open, but she was not awake. I heard her calling me, Haley whispered after waking from the water. Raquel looked down. A face was under the surface, pale and smiling. They ran back to the house, but the front door was wide open. Inside, all the mirrors were cracked, and the bathroom wall written in water. Four went in, one comes out. The next day, Ben was gone. They searched the wood, the road, the water, but his clothes were still in the room, his shoes by the door. Alex found a muddy trail leading into the lake. It ended at the water edge. That night, Haley saw him outside, Ben standing still in water, smiling. She ran to hug him, but when she got close, his face changed. Rotting, hollowed, eyes black as the lake. She screamed and fell back. He sank beneath the surface without a splash. Raquel dug through the old house and found a hidden journal in the attic. It belonged to a girl named Evelyn Waiters. They dared me to swim at midnight. I went alone. The lake pulled me under. Now I wait. Every summer I need 4 souls to rest. Alex slammed the book stuff. She taking us one by one. We have to stop her, Raquel said. They made a plan. They built a raft and rowed to the center of the lake. Haley held the journal. Alex held the metal cross from the attic. Raquel brought a lantern. In the middle of the lake, the water turned ice cold. Suddenly, Ben climbed up from the under the raft, grabbing Haley. But it was not Ben anymore. It was Eleven, wearing his skin. Raquel threw the cross into the water. A terrible scream echoed across the lake. The water boiled. The raft shook, and then silence. The next morning, only Raquel made it back. The raft was found floating near the shore. Police searched, but Alex, Ben, and Haley were not found. Raquel never spoke of what happened. But every summer, new teens visit that lake, and each year someone vanished.